A funeral procession was happening. A news reporter was on site to report the current situation. I'm currently at the funeral house of the K-Seoul Hospital. At this moment, the funeral for the late CEO of K Electronics, Kim Suk-woo, is being held. His spouse, Seol Jin-hee, also sadly passed away next to her husband. The ceremony was organized and attended by the president of K Electronics, Kim Suk-woo, the son of the couple, Kim Tae-jun, age 10, and other family members. As the family member escorted the casket, they were swarmed by many news reporters and paparazzi, asking many questions of how the accident happened, what caused it, and what will be the future. It was a dark, gloomy day, and the rain fell non-stop. Little Tae-jun asked his grandpa if the man that killed his mommy and daddy was going to receive the death penalty or life imprisonment. Grandpa told him that he doesn't know what's going to happen, but it won't be either of those. They will probably give the man 1 to 2 years in prison. Tae-jun questioned angrily why. Grandpa, isn't that unfair after what he did to my parents? I would send that man to jail to repent for the rest of his life. Why won't you do anything about it? Grandpa told Tae-jun they don't have that power. No matter how much they hate that driver, they can't choose his life sentence. They have to forgive him until he falls into hell. That's what people of their social status must do. Tae-jun's aunt, holding onto the umbrella as she stood outside the door, said, I know it's going to be hard for you right now, but you will one day understand, Tae-jun. Tae-jun rushed out, pushing his aunt aside, and ran away angrily and shouted in desperation, I don't need that social status. I'm going to resent him for the rest of my life. And he stormed off in the heavy rain. As he ran his pain away, he thought, being capable of having things more easily than most people do, and being able to do things that most people couldn't, why does that matter? I can't trade any of that for the life of my parents. He slowed down to catch his breath as he reached the staff dormitory building. Wiping off the rain and tears off his face, he heard someone say, Granny, when will Dad come back? Granny, holding the little girl's hand, told her to just wait patiently. She asked if Daddy is going to be later than usual. In their path stood Tae-jun, looking at them, the daughter of the man who killed his parents. He glared at her as tears rolled down his face, engraving her image in his mind, making a vow to himself, I won't ever forgive you. Since then, 20 years have passed. In a fancy, luxurious diner place, Tae-jun's aunt instructed the cook to take good care of today's meal since her nephew loves this place's cooking. She is called Kim Suk-hee, the CEO of K Electronics Home Appliances Division. Just as she was wondering what's taking Tae-jun so long, he arrived. I'm sorry, Aunt. Did you wait long? Kim Tae-jun is now 30 years old and CEO of K Electronics Customer Service Center. While they were eating their meal, the aunt complimented, How can you look more handsome every time I see you? I guess it must be time for you to get married already, Tae-jun. Tae-jun snarkily said, I'm not planning on getting married. I think I'm going to live like you. The aunt said through gritted anger, Do you think I won't? I just haven't had the chance because I'm busy. You should have stayed in the US for another year like Grandpa said. That way, you could have been directly assigned to the group's headquarters. But still, I don't think that's enough for his precious grandson, do you? He's so rigid when it comes to things like that. Tae-jun told his aunt that he was the one who asked Grandpa to come back to Korea. He thinks he needs to experience working as customer sales. At K Internal Services, there were a lot of people waiting for services. At one of the service desks, a young lady was assisting an elderly woman. While the elderly woman was signing a consent form, she reached for a cloth to wipe her glasses. She is Han So-eun, 27 years old, an employee of K Electronics Mobile Services Division. Upon signing the consent form, So-eun handed the elderly a card and told her to come back in 40 minutes. The service center was very busy. There was no break in between. Her month-long unpaid leave hit her life hard. Even if there's a ton of work to do, she cannot ask her colleagues for help since she left without saying anything. However, there are a few reasons why she couldn't tell them. She told herself numerous times that it's okay. She did the right thing. She saved a person. For someone like her who has lived her 27 years of life with hardships, her Haewook Appa was someone who came into her life like a ray of sunshine. He was her boyfriend, is always caring and sweet to her. Flashback to when driving in the car. He asked if she was tired. He'll take her to eat something delicious, so she can cheer up a bit. His family made delicious kimchi, so she can eat more. They care about her a lot too. She was so thankful she found them when she was in such a dark place. However, that bright ray of sun in her life soon turned into a dark shade. A few months later, they even have to come for a medical checkup. There are so many things to do before marriage. While filling out forms, her boyfriend started crying. He complimented how lucky she is that she's type O blood. He too would like type O blood. She consoled him and asked what's wrong. He can talk to her about anything. He told her, the truth is, his mother is currently battling with cancer. Normally, it would be cured if the tumors were removed, but no one in his family has the same blood type as her. The doctor said the surgery cannot be done without a liver donation from someone who has the same blood type. Since that's a real blood type, his mom has become weaker recently. If something happens to his mom, and so she thought for someone like her who has never received love before, she was easily convinced that they love her. And she wanted to repay the love. She wanted to feel loved forever. She truly believed they could become a real family, since then she has done many medical examinations. And her liver is compatible with his mother. So she wanted to donate part of it for her surgery. Upon telling the news to the families, they cried, and they were so generous and kind to her. And she felt proud of her decision. In the evening, she took the bus home. She texted her boyfriend that she just got on the bus to the hospital and there's a lot of traffic. But he did not reply to several of her texts. She thought he must be busy today, but she should bring up getting married again. When the surgery went well and his mother has recovered a lot, he should be more relieved, right? She finally reached the university hospital. She thought to herself that his mother might feel even better if she knows they are making advances with the ceremony and the invitations. She should bring that up today. When she arrived outside of the ward, she felt so nervous. She stood outside the door preparing herself for the talk. It's okay. She will just have to find the right moment to say it. She can say it in a nice way. As her hand reached for the door handle, she overheard the conversation in the ward. The mother asked, "The one that works in the same law firm as you? Oh my, I'm sure she's really bust." Yet she came to visit the mother of her coworker. She's not married, right? Her boyfriend replied, 28. She's the same age as So-eun. His mother replied, she's so pretty. So it's such a shame that you are wasting your time with So-eun. You're surrounded by women who are smarter and more beautiful. Women whose parents are alive and have a stable life. Her boyfriend answered, if I dated a woman like that, she wouldn't have given you part of her liver. Mom? Flashback to 4 months ago, they were consulting with the doctor. The doctor shows the image of the donor's body and an image of the abdomen. There's not much fat on the donor's liver, and the shape is very stable for the beneficiary. The mom cried at the doctor, thanking the doctor for the good news. The doctor said she should be thankful to the daughter-in-law, since she's a blessing to the mother. The doctor continued to explain the surgery and the things that needed to be done. The doctor drew a picture of how much the donor's liver was going to be cut, and that will leave her liver with functionality of 50 or 60%. The part they're taking should weigh around 1 kilogram, but they are aiming to only take a section equivalent to 500 grams. And the doctor said normally she could recover after a month, but due to the scale of the surgery, it could take up to 3 months. So-eun thought, 3 months of recovering. She cannot afford to rest for so long. Her boyfriend told her to tell the company that she's going to take a short break, and he will take care of the necessary paperwork. Even though she's uncomfortable with taking 3 months off, she agreed to it. Shortly after she woke up from the surgery, she was alone and in so much pain. The nurse told her to lie down, and she would give So-eun some painkillers. The nurse reported that the operation ended well. It was a laparoscopic surgery, so the wound is that big. She then mutters enough energy to ask how is her mother-in-law, the lady she donated liver to. The nurse said she's probably in her hospital room. Actually, So-eun's condition is worse than the mother-in-law's. The nurse then asked should she call the person who signed to take care of her as her guardian. He might have to come later since he's with his mother. So-eun said that's okay. There's no need. Back to the current time. So-eun was looking at her phone reading her boyfriend's message. He asked why she's not going to the hospital when she said she was. Is she working? She thought he was all fast to ask after what he just said. He doesn't even know how much she has cursed him since that moment, but it's her fault for eavesdropping. He graduated from a prestigious law school, and he's now a well-known lawyer of a high lawyer's firm. But he's dating a mere engineer who graduated from a low 4-year program. People around her would say that it's a waste for someone like him to be with her. Her thoughts were interrupted by her colleague, Bobe, calling for her. She told Bobe that she was about to grab something to eat. There are a few things she has to do later on. Bobe said she should have eaten earlier. Would Soun like her to bring a salad? She knew Soun like that. Flashback to when her mother-in-law told her if she had enough food, she should eat a lot since she works so hard. The mother-in-law said the younger you are, the sooner you should start to eat healthier. At that time, they were so nice and sweet to her. Even her boyfriend doesn't allow her to drink a lot. He doesn't want her to push herself too hard. And he even encouraged her to live a long, healthy life together. He cared so much for her that he even said he wanted to be her first, all the way until they get married. Or that's what she thought. She cannot believe all that time they just. Her face soured the more she thought about it. Bobe asked her again if salad is fine. What about Bobe? Did Bobe have lunch yet? Bobe answered enthusiastically, yes, at the company restaurant! The new CEO is here right now. I was told he's really handsome. I want to see him too. He's like the prince of a royal family, but he's having lunch here. He must be such a modest person. I think that's so charming. Soun chuckled thinking about the morning when all the girls were talking about the new CEO. They were crazy about him. Bobe went to grab food for Soun. As she walked away, Soun's attention was brought back to her phone. Should she reply to him? Otherwise, she won't stop thinking about it. She finally told him that she's a little bit busy. Her boyfriend responded that his mom has been wanting to see him, which makes her think that they are not going to abandon her. So she won't abandon them either. Or no, rather, she cannot abandon them, because they have taken a part of her. She texted that she will visit the weekend. Then her boyfriend texted, he and his father got work. Can she take care of his mother and bring some side dishes? He will send her a recipe to make. She texted, why don't he make them himself? Would his mother prefer that? It took a lot of forces within her to push the send button. He texted back that he tried it before, but the way his mother is, it was not good enough. If it's too hard for Soun, she can just bring the porridge. They can go eat something together later. Does she like grilled eel from Namsa? Then he followed up with a sugarcoat message. I know you are the only one for me. I love you. As she was focused on the text, someone tapped on her desk. Soun abruptly looked as she adjusted her glasses. She was startled at how handsome he is. She didn't recognize anyone that handsome working there before. He doesn't seem like a customer. Then the head of the Human Resources Department worker came by and introduced the handsome man as the new head of operations, Kim Tae-jun, which shook her even more. She stood up, bowed, and greeted Tae-jun. He said he just asked if she had eaten yet. With her head still bowing, she answered, yes, a colleague just want to bring a salad. A salad? Is that enough? He questioned. She answered, yes, she's on a diet. He doesn't think that will make her full, while she begged internally for him to please leave. He glanced at her briefly before asking, Miss Han Soun, could you come with me for a moment? And then he walked away, leaving her flustered. Soun followed Tae-jun, wondering if she did something wrong. Is this because of the work leave that she took? They noticed she took a whole month free. Soon, the human resources person departed back to his office, leaving just Soun and Tae-jun waiting outside the elevator. The longer it took the elevator, the crazier her thoughts became. In her head, she imagined him, pointing a finger at her. I'll use you as an example for all the other employees. Pack your things and leave. You should be ashamed of your negligence. As they got inside the elevator, Tae-jun asked how long she worked there. She answered that this year will be her 4th year working. He asked why she joined K-Group. She was taken aback and thought, oh shit, he's doing the elevator talk? She has to say something that will impress him in less than 8 seconds. She has to answer in a clever way, short and concise. She tried to remember what she said back then during her interviews. Before she found the answer to reply, he already asked another question. Where does she live? She answered, Kwan-song-do. He commented, it's not that far from here. Is it the house of her parents? She said she lives alone. She finally guessed that he wanted to have small talk. They got off the 7th floor. She has never seen the 7th floor before. People normally cannot enter unless it's for things terminating their contracts. He asked her to wait a moment, then went inside the room, shut the door, leaving her standing outside the door, nervous and confused of what's to come. She waited for a few moments, then he came out holding a bag. He handed the bag to her and told her to eat it. Fresh eel. There are a few left for her. She deserved this for being the only one who stayed working hard. She felt flattered and instantly thought how she was going to eat it. Rice with grilled eel. She felt so touched. The head of operations is such a nice person. How can someone so handsome have such a gentle heart too? She bowed and thanked him for the eel. She will surely enjoy it. She thought, there are still nice people in this world. There's still hope out there. As she turned around to walk away, he asked, by the way, have we seen each other before? She paused and turned to look at him. He took a step closer and leaned close to observe her face. Her face started to turn red and redder as he observed her in silence. Then he turned around, stating, guess not. She can leave. As she jogged away, her badge happened to hop behind her back. Based on the information he gathered, she graduated from only girl middle school, high school, and college. After that, her first job was at K Electronics. She's diligent and has a good work attitude, and she gets along well with her colleagues. She also took 1 month of unpaid leave. It seems she went on an overseas trip. Earlier, the human resource person was reporting information about her as he looked at her profile. Tae-jun dismissed the human resource person. And an overseas trip? He thought of his overseas experience. Let's break up, someone said. He turned around and asked, I don't understand what you want. I have done everything you have asked me to. A beautiful young lady, trembling, about to cry. Do you want me to tell you? Every time you are drunk, the only person you talk about is Han So-eun. Do you know how many times that has happened already? Then she ran away, sobbing. Tae-jun lay down and muttered, on Seo Yeon or Han So-eun. He repeated the name Han So-eun repeatedly as to hypnotize himself back to the distant past. A hand flicked a girl's forehead. Ouch, that hurts. Oppa, you are so mean. The little girl yelled as she touched her forehead. The little boy answered, shut up. I told you I'll flick you if you lose. You always whine when you lose. You are so annoying. I won't play rock, paper, scissors with you anymore. Then she grabbed his shirt and said, I'll win this time. So let's play again. Okay? Back to the present. His heart called out, ah, Han So-eun. As if he found an answer to what he was supposed to be doing all along. He ridiculed himself. What a fool. What are you doing living here? Some time passed, and he received the data he requested about her past for the last 20 years. Han So-eun was raised by her aunt until she became an adult. Her biological father, Han Hongyu, went to live in the Philippines more than 10 years ago. She's currently working as a customer service engineer at K Electronics Customer Service Division. He questioned through the phone. Does he know that his daughter joined the K group? The other person on the line said, that's something more difficult to investigate. But it's possible. Would Tae-jun like them to investigate? Tae-jun stated he would like to leave it to them. An elderly man, Oh Gap-soo, chairman of the K Electronic Services, stated, you directly called me. I'll make a good arrangement for Director Kim Tae-jun. It's me. Please be nice to me, Chairman. Tae-jun replied. The chairman answered, I do nothing. Our director will know and do well. I heard that you would come to the electronics headquarters a year later. Is this considered business class, so you came here first? Our director Kim only needs to keep you stay. Still you can move the same way a year later, ha ha ha. The two men seemed to be talking full of hidden snide remarks. Tae-jun stated, I cannot stay still with my personality, because they've already saved me a position. Anyway, I have to do something useful for the company. After Tae-jun's father passed away, it's been 20 years already. To let everything be able to find its own place again. It was a long enough period of time. The traces of father created the K Electronics have been erased. That vacancy has been filled by new people. A lot of things have changed. The expected work was carried out smoothly. Luckily, it seems like nothing happens. Though, this uncomfortable feeling is strangely dangerous, so frustrating. As the human resource person toured Tae-jun, he noticed Han So-eun alone while everyone else had left. What's this and last? Back to his meeting with the chairman. This is the service center. Everything is fine. You don't need to worry. Only us. Customers here are all those who come for free repairs. Those who don't like to buy new stuff. To be honest, I was rejected by the group ideology. It won't be able to circulate if it's too good, right? So the staff just needs to do what the customers want. Just being moderately friendly is enough. We won't need to invest. We also don't need to improve the environment. So you can feel free to plan the business for next year. As Taejun listened to the chairman, it seemed the chairman had an opinion of him, the grandson of the council's chairman, who spent time playing around abroad and then came back when he's old. On the counter, an elderly woman asked So-eun what's wrong with her phone. She used it for 10 years, but it hasn't broken once. Until last night, it was normal. So-eun explained, perhaps the mainboard broke because of using it for a long time. She saw a part was corroded. The manufacturer has stopped production. Repairs may be difficult since replacement parts are no longer manufactured. Every time when So-eun has to make a diagnosis like this, she feels like a villain. The elderly woman stated that it was the phone her son got for her after his first salary. So-eun asked if she saved photos and the numbers. The woman answered pitifully, she doesn't know how to do those things. There are lots of photos. So-eun stated she will try to back up first and took the phone to the back. While taking the phone apart, she noticed the elderly woman kept the phone clean very well, though the corrosion inside the device is very serious. Battery needs to be removed, but first, it needs to be charged first and backed up. As she plugged the battery, she glanced at her phone. Since yesterday, her boyfriend hasn't contacted at all. Should she call him? Maybe he'll pick up the phone. She typed up if they could meet later, but decided against it. She doesn't want to contact him first, but she also hopes he knows what she's been doing lately. She looked at his social media posts. There have been no new posts. Maybe he's busy. Then she noticed a group selfie shot, and there was a pretty female in the group. It reminded her of the conversation she happened to overheard when she went to the hospital. She really thought the woman was so pretty, beautiful and lovely. Maybe the woman has grown up in a harmonious family and only receives love. So the word without a shadow is for people like her. She's the type of person that no matter how hard she tries, she cannot imitate. No wonder she feels exhausted, not only her body, but her heart also. Then someone yelled, "Specialist Han." And it woke her up from her dazed. The batter was on fire. She pulled her shirt to cover her mouth and searched for the fire extinguisher. She ran as quickly as she could to get the fire extinguisher, grabbed it, and attempted to extinguish the fire. Suddenly, she started feeling dizzy and almost stumbled, but then grabbed her arm to stabilize her, while shouting for her to wake up. The staff are now sitting in the director's office while he reprimanded them. If they cannot even handle basic things like that, then they shouldn't be in their current position. The team head could only apologize and promised it won't happen again. The one who should take most of the responsibility is Han So-eun since she caused the fire by spacing out during work. Thankfully, it didn't get into a worse scenario. Taejun dismissed the meeting and told them to reflect on their work, but Miss Han So-eun needed to stay for a moment. So-eun bowed to Taejun and apologized. Everything was her fault. She is prepared to receive any punishment. Taejun asked what kind of punishment she thinks he is going to give her. She probably knows what he has in mind. So-eun stated she is prepared to take any necessary disciplinary action. He smirked and said she'll have to wait for it. He won't let this incident go down easily. He will give her the disciplinary action in a few days. The K Group has a large number of dream jobs for many job seekers. She sacrificed many hours of sleep before just to get to work there. But after the surgery, the passing of her life has been broken. She tried to endure it and return her life to normal after a month of recovery. She was afraid of losing her position if she was absent for too long. She even works harder after she returns out of fear. But even so, she wanted to see Hae-wook. As the workday ended, she contemplated if she should call him. Maybe his voice might cheer her up. She stepped out to the staircase for privacy to call him. But instead, a woman answered. The woman reported that Mr. Young left his phone at work and went downstairs. Does she want to leave a message? So-eun replied that she was going to visit him in the evening. But the woman said he won't be available. They have a company dinner. They finished a case today, so they decided to have a drink with all the members. But if Soon wanted to, she could go with them. Soon suddenly lights up and asks if she really can go. The woman said of course. She would like to meet Soon too. She will send the address to Soon. This makes Soon think maybe Hyunjin is actually a good person. She felt relieved. She navigated her way outside and thought what forms of transportation was better at this time. Taxi, she would be stuck in traffic. Bus? Or she could take the subway if she could walk a little more. The director got out of the car and asked her to get in. She somehow followed him to the other side of the car. He opened the door and told her to get in. He will give her a ride. Huh? Did she hear that right? He asked, didn't you live in Gwanseongdong? My house is near yours. She knew then she heard him correctly. She told him she is not going home. She has a few more things to do around in Seoul. He asked, where? She replied, Gangnam, near the Daehak station. Tae-jun replied, his house is also near that place. He will drop her off on his way there. She screams internally, didn't he say it was near Gwanseongdong? That's the total opposite from it. She couldn't say that though. Before she could say anything, he ordered her to get in, which she obediently complied with. She wonders how she ended up in this situation. Or is he planning to kick her out? Or is this part of the disciplinary action? As he got inside the car, he asked for the place. She provided the name, and he ordered the driver to drive there. It was quiet, and she felt suffocated. Then he asked if she had some kind of appointment. She answered, yes. He asked, giving her an unpleasant dominating glare, do you have a boyfriend? Her language detection for those two questions said, where are you going after making such a mess today? Are you seriously going on a date? But, she answered, yes. Tae-jun asked if her boyfriend is nice to her. Her language detection translated to, does your boyfriend know that you made a mess today? But, she wondered why he wants to keep talking about her boyfriend. Isn't he crossing the line too much? Although, she doesn't think he can do anything about it. She is just a small worker. Compared to her, he's a giant. So he has the power to cross the line as much as he wants. Even if she redraws the line, he can just cross it again. She guessed. She didn't have any other choice than letting him cross it. Soon replied, yes. Tae-jun questioned, what do you mean by that? I think I don't really know what women refer to when they say that. And that made her think, could it be that he kept talking about her boyfriend because he has relationship problems? He doesn't look too much older than her, so he should be in the age of dating. She answered, it seems that he has a cute side. He just takes good care of me and takes me on dates sometimes. He questioned while looking directly at her, is that how your boyfriend makes you feel right now? She gazed at him and thought, the person that receives the love of this man. I might not know how it is, but it probably will live happily. Soon gave a sincere smile and answered, yes. Because that answer is what she desired in her heart. Tae-jun suddenly told the driver, they won't go to Seoul. She turned to look at the window and noticed they just passed the intersection. Tae-jun stated, he's in a hurry, so he'll drop her off here. Soon readily agreed to go by herself. He smiled through gritted teeth and said he will see her tomorrow. But to her, it sounded like, hurry up and get off. She got off and thought, the director of the company seems to make the customer feel embarrassed. Soon was thankful that she was dropped off close to her destination. The weather was hot. She was worried about walking too much since she couldn't take a taxi or the subway. Upon arriving at the restaurant, her boyfriend was already standing outside, waiting for her. He saw that she was sweating and took out a cute design handkerchief to wipe her sweats. She commented that the handkerchief was pretty. Was it a present? He tucked the handkerchief in his pocket and told her, he has a favor. He hasn't told his co-workers about her giving part of her liver to his mother. They are very grateful to her for that, but they don't know what others will think of it. Once they know about it, that will be all they talk about. People could have very small mindsets and don't know how they would react. He didn't tell them until now because he thought it also could be bad for her. He persuaded her with a menace grin that she also did the same thing. She didn't tell her company either. So until they get married, he cannot show weakness at work. She told him she understood. But why is it so upsetting to say it? How can he do that when she had done so much for him? Even after she came all the way there. He's going to keep being like this? Is that how little he loves her? Inside the restaurant, Hyunjin introduced So-eun as Mr. Yang's girlfriend. The other colleagues clapped and stated they have been wanting to meet Mr. Yang's girlfriend for so long. Choi Hyunjin formally introduced herself to Han So-eun as well. Seeing how bubbly and friendly Hyunjin was, So-eun felt relieved that Hyunjin was cute. Hyunjin then dragged So-eun to meet each individual person. They traded business cards and chatted before seating. Once they ate, everyone started to gather amongst themselves about their trials, the tedious work they had to do, while So-eun felt awkward as she had nothing in common to talk with them. Then, Hyunjin asked So-eun where she worked again, what kind of things she does. So-eun stated she works at K Electronics customer service. She's an engineer and in charge of mobile devices, but she also knows how to fix a few other devices too. Hyunjin leaned closely over Hae-wook and stated her refrigerator from K Electronics has stopped working for a while now. Would So-eun have time to check it sometimes? Han So-eun answered that she could check it sometimes. Hearing this made Hyunjin exclaim loudly in excitement. Hae-wook asked if Hyunjin was drunk, to which Hyunjin complained that Mr. Yang was harsh with her. Then she leaned onto his shoulder, while everyone laughed as they didn't notice the closeness between Hae-wook and Hyunjin. So-eun noticed that she seems very close to Hae-wook. So-eun was about to say something to Hae-wook, but he stopped her from talking, saying that he had to pick up a phone call. With that, he stood up and left to answer the call. So-eun was left alone, uncomfortable, as she doesn't know anyone. She questioned herself, why did she come there? Then, Hyunjin tapped her shoulder, asking if she could pour a cup of drink for So-eun. She declined the drink as she was still recovering from her health, but Hyunjin insisted. She came all the way there, so one drink should be okay. So-eun thought back to her past. She really liked to drink. Although in the past, she used to drink often after work, but after the surgery, she hasn't drank anything because of her health. She was not planning to drink any alcohol for at least half a year. Hae-wook's colleagues were encouraging her to have one drink, and Hae-wook hasn't told anyone about her donation surgery. In the end, she decided to have a drink. She asked Hyunjin to pour her one drink. She thought it would be okay since, if it's just a bit of alcohol. Hyunjin presented her with a glass of beer. So-eun grabbed the glass and took a large mouthful of beer. Her eyes lit up, excited at how good the beer tasted. It was so delicious that her eyes sparkled and tears swelled up. It was so refreshing. She hasn't tasted something like that in a long time. She wanted to drink more, but she'll have to endure it with just one sip. It was short, but it was a nice sensation. While she was smitten with the beer glass in front of her, Hae-wook called out angrily to her. He stated he wanted to take a bit of fresh air with her and glared at her to go outside with him. Once they were outside, he asked if she was crazy. How much did she drink? So-eun stated that it was only one sip. Miss Choi insisted that she have a drink. Hae-wook complained that she shouldn't have drunk it just because Hyunjin told her to. She has to learn how to avoid situations like that. The way Hae-wook called Miss Choi by first name basis struck her, but before she could dwell on it farther, he changed his demeanor again and sugarcoat to keep her at bay. It was only because he was worried about her. He was afraid she could get hurt because of it. And he will call for a taxi to get her home. So-eun wondered if he was really worried about her. Why should she keep the surgery a secret? Did she do anything wrong? Shouldn't the people who would say bad things about that be the bad ones? Why didn't he blame Miss Choi if he was worried about her? What's going on between him and Miss Choi? But instead of saying all these things, she bottled it up in her heart and felt like crying, but she couldn't. She was afraid of making a mistake. She doesn't want to hurt anyone. Instead of hurting others, it was easier for her to hurt herself. She forced all her sadness back and forced on a smile. It's okay. I'll say goodbye and then I'll leave. After bidding goodbyes to the lawyer teams, Yang Hae-wook led Han So-eun out. Choi Hyunjin watched the couple walk out the door. She muttered to herself, she doesn't understand what he likes about her. Han So-eun. After the meeting was done and everyone was departing, Tae-jun shook hands with a few business fellow men before leaving. He made his way to his car where the driver was waiting to open the door for him to get in. Tae-jun told the driver that he wanted to go back alone. The driver told Tae-jun that he will see Tae-jun tomorrow then. Tae-jun thanked the driver before driving off. While driving, he sighed, exhausted having to put up with affront. He can't believe he was made to go to that reunion even after a long day of work. His grandfather hasn't changed at all. He will have to be prepared for more things like this. But he had to meet them since they are important people. He was so tired of talking about things outside of their scope of work. Why were they so interested in such boring things? Thinking back to those people complimenting how handsome he was, and it was rumored that some entertainment agencies are keeping an eye on him, or that he must be really popular with women, right? Is he dating already? Or, if he doesn't mind, would he like to meet her? Then his mind drifted to the lift earlier where he asked if So-eun's boyfriend treated her well. But he didn't offer to give her a ride just to talk about boring things. He was curious about why she joined the K group. How could she just answer him like that without any shame? He was just doing some research. It should be so easy for someone of his status to interrogate someone like her. So why the heck? It feels so wrong doing it. He finally made a stop on the way and went into the bar restaurant. The greeter was blushed, awestruck at how handsome he was. As he told the greeter that he needed a table for one, he noticed the cheering voice from a table full of people. Glancing in that direction, he saw Yang Hae-wook. He thought, isn't that her boyfriend? They all seem to be lawyers. Where is Han So-eun? Did she leave first? Was this the date she had with her boyfriend? It just seems like a company dinner. Why was she here? As his mind rambles on while searching for her presence, he just stood there without saying anything, leaving the greeter confused. He decided not to dine there and walked out feeling frustrated. What a waste of time. He would have preferred to have another meeting than eat in that place. Then he heard someone calling out to him, "Mr. CEO." It was Han So-eun. She was waving an ice cream. She's probably having ice cream for hangovers as she looked drunk, in high tension, and she's in a convenience store not too far from the dinner place. He walked over and asked, "What are you doing there? What about your date?" Han So-eun doesn't quite know either. Exactly, what am I doing here? Although, if I'm being honest, I know the answer. I was abandoned here. He froze and imagined her journey there. He threw her out of the car. She ran to the place crying that she was late. Arrived at the place, but everyone was drunk and she felt awkward. A hard atmosphere to fit in. She decided to drink by herself. Taejun apologized, "Sorry, I should have dropped you off closer. I didn't think about it since I was in a hurry." "Huh. I'm very grateful for you giving me a ride. I'm not disappointed in you at all. The rice with grilled eel that you gave was also delicious." He asked, "Should I buy you more?" She declined. "No, I already ordered some more. Here's the picture." She showed him her phone and started talking about the eels and the deals she got. He looked at her and thought, "You have grown so much, Han So-eun. You came here to get drunk so you could cheer up." Then he frowned. "It doesn't suit you at all." So-eun then told him she had something she wanted to talk with him about. She's drunk at this moment, so she can talk about a lot of things. "To be honest, I was very scared today. I thought something bad was going to happen when you offered to give me a ride. I couldn't stop thinking about that. But I thought that a person that gives rice with grilled eel for free cannot be a bad person, right? That reason is what gives her the courage to get in the car." Taejun answered with criticism. "You don't know anything about real life. There's no doubt that a bad person could give you rice with grilled eel too." She readily agreed. "I know that, but I just want to trust you." Thinking back then, she was willing to give a part of herself for him. She didn't even think twice about it, because he was someone precious to her. She thought she would be happier if she did it, and she thought her love would be reciprocated the same way. If she could, she wished she could have kept being deceived forever. But she cannot blame anyone for it. She made that decision. The only thing that she can do now is to face the burden of all the things that she had lost. But even so, she still wanted to go and eat grilled eel with him just like he promised. But instead of pouring out her true heartfelt pain and thoughts, she told him, "I'm glad that I could at least eat that without losing myself to him. I wanted someone that could comfort me even if I whined about it. I also wanted to feel as if I were loved. I wanted to be loved." Taejun was momentarily confused. We were talking about grilled eel, but she suddenly turned it into something depressing. Is this one of her drunk habits? He stood up and excused himself. "I'll leave now. I don't have anything else to talk about with you." Before he stepped away, So-eun asked, "Mr. CEO, You asked me why I joined the K group, right? The reason why I joined the K group, Tae-jun thought, it's good for him since she's drunk. It means that she is going to talk about anything without filters. He should stay to verify it. This is something that he has been anticipating. He asked, what is it? Her eyes sparkled and said, I don't have one. BK Group is a dream company for most job seekers. If you get in, you can live a comfortable life. It was natural for me to try my chances there. It was difficult to pass the job aptitude test of the K Group. He stood there frozen, not moving, reasoning within himself. She genuinely doesn't have one? During all those 20 years, what about what happened to my parents? She didn't know anything about it? No one told her? It cannot be. Han So-eun praised. Mr. CEO, you are so lucky. You became the CEOs as soon as you came in? Irked by her statement, he sat back down, crossed his arms and said, Hey, I'm a man with high abilities. I'm worthy of my position. I also went to one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Anyways, I didn't get my position just because of my connections. I'm completely qualified to be an executive. She pursed her lips and diverted her eyes as if she didn't believe him. Yeah, whatever you say. Frustrated, he asked, what do you mean by that? She perched her face on her hands and looked at him. Nothing. Let's say you were right. And he can see the child gesture in her, and he got angry with the same expression as the child him back them. This woman? Han So-eun. You aren't actually drunk, are you? She reached out to him and grabbed his arm and cried, I'm really drunk, that's why I'm acting like this. I would never speak like this to my boss. Freaked out of her sudden action, he knew, she's actually drunk. She confessed again, I'm so glad to meet with it after a long time. Her statement stopped him from pulling away from her grasp. What did she say? Meet me after a long time? I know it. She remembers it. He forcefully yanked his arm away and questioned, what do you mean? She touched her wrist as if his action hurt her and cried, alcohol? I was so happy to drink after so long. That's why I got drunk and acted like that. I'm normally good at talking. Why would I say that? I wonder why. I cannot talk the same way to Waiwook? Tae-jun calmed down his frustrated heart. She genuinely doesn't remember anything. He guessed that's the case. Not a lot of people remember everything before turning 7, and even less after 20 years have passed. The reason why Han So-eun joined K Group was just a coincidence. That was the truth. There was nothing more about it. So what should he do now? He took a step away and then told her, I'll bring my car. I'll take you to your house. I won't abandon you again. I'll drop you at your house properly. So-eun crossed her arms and humphed angrily. When he came back with his car, she was nowhere to be seen at the same chair and table. Then he noticed something was left on the table. He picked it up, looking at it. I was actually going to drop her off at her house, but it seems that she didn't believe me. Did she take a taxi? I hope she's not walking around drunk without her glasses. But what if she does? Do I have the responsibility to look for her to bring her glasses back? I was just curious about why she joined the K Group. I wanted to know if she knew what her father did. That's why I decided to come all the way here from another country. But I didn't expect it to be such a simple answer. So, I don't have any more questions left. So, is that it? Is that everything that I came for and the answer I wanted to get? Is this the end? I should feel great. I finally got rid of this situation. She never had a good reason to join the group to begin with. So Kim Tae-jun, why don't you play a little more with her like in the old times? The next day, So-eun got up and turned her place inside out, but couldn't find her glasses anywhere. So she had to wear contact lenses. While putting in her contacts, she told herself she cannot drink any more alcohol. She was lucky to get home safely yesterday, but she wasn't sure where her glasses were. She definitely had them after she went to the restaurant, and then images and conversations of what happened yesterday came, flooding her mind. How she spoke to him, her action, clinging onto him like a crazy person. So-eun thought who was riding the bus to work seemed soulless. Ha ha ha. I must have gone crazy. At work, Bobae greeted everyone full of vitality. Everyone looked refreshed and cheerful, in contrast to them. So-eun looked horrendous. Bobe stated, "Oh God. You don't look well today." Soon answered, "Haha. It's probably just because I'm not wearing glasses." Upon hearing someone greeted, "Mr. CEO, good morning," Soon instantly ducked down, confusing Bobe. She hid under the work table, trembling, praying to God, "Please, don't come this way." Bobe then leaned down and told her, "The CEO left already." Poor manager. Did something happen when you were called to his office? Bobe helped pull Soon up from under the desk. A delivery person came in and asked if Miss Han Soon was here. He has a delivery for her, and who can receive it? A colleague raised his hand and said he can. Then, Soon quickly returned to her desk, announcing herself. A flower bouquet was delivered, and she was asked to sign it. On top of the flower, there was also hangover medicine. The delivery person gave her the receipt. It was from the law firm, and the sender was Yang Hae-wook. Appa sent her the flower and hangover medicine. She was so touched that took a photo of it and sent a thank you message to Hae-wook Appa. Hae-wook looked at his phone and wondered what it was. Choi Hyun-jin leaned over to glance at his phone and stated, "She sent a flower bouquet with hangover medicine to Soon's office." She felt sorry for making Soon drink. She thought Soon would feel pressured, so she sent it under his name. Hae-wook didn't want the two to get close. If they get close, Choi Hyun-jin would know that Han Soon gave a part of her liver to his mother. He worked so hard to erase all the donation records. He thought it would be enough to just keep Soon quiet for some time, but this could cause a new problem. He had to put up with face, so he thanked Hyun-jin for doing it. Hyun-jin reasoned that she has to take care of Soon because Soon will be his wife one day. Did he arrange the wedding date already? Hae-wook frowned sadly and answered, "They have not decided yet." Hyun-jin smiled and elbowed him. "You drank a ton last night. Did you forget what happened? You even started speaking casually to me." He stuttered and asked, "Did I really do that?" She answered, "You were also telling me to call you Oppa." Shocked, he asked for clarification. "What?" She parted her hair strand behind her ear and said shyly, "Maybe it was just a dream of mine." He quickly insisted, "Well, Noel, you can call me Oppa. I think we have gotten close enough to talk more comfortably with each other." She questioned excitedly, "Really? Then can I treat you like an Oppa too?" He smiled back and said, "Well, if you insist." But internally, he scolded himself. Damn it. If my mother didn't need the transplant, I would not have promised to marry Han Soon. In the beginning, she was just a girl I planned to play with for a couple of months. I got interested in her just because of her pretty face and nice body. But lawyer Choi Hyun-jin comes from a good family. She has a great academic background and she's pretty, with a bright personality. Even when my mother got hospitalized, took time out of her busy schedule to come visit with a present. We've been getting a lot closer lately. She has been taking care of me by giving me health supplements and handkerchiefs to use, and she's so sweet when she talks to me. Shit, what a shame. It's genuinely such a shame. On the 7th floor, the secretary greeted Tae-jun. He greeted her back and stated she doesn't have to greet him every time he goes into his office. Secretary Song Moon-kyung, who is currently Tae-jun's secretary, was once the former secretary of President Kim Suk-hwa. Tae-jun walked past Secretary Moon-kyung in a good mood. She watched him pass her and thought, he seems to be in a better mood than usual. Did something good happen? Before closing the door, Tae-jun ordered Secretary Song, "Please tell the manager of the mobile services section, Han So-eun, to pack all her things and come to my office. And tell her not to hide again." His statement left Secretary Song confused. Kim Tae-jun now didn't need to keep acting up anymore. He finally got an answer and cleared the doubts that sank deep in his heart. He came here with impure intentions, but now he's ready to change his perspective to a more playful one. Because if he didn't do anything at all, it would feel like such a waste to have to come all the way to South Korea for nothing. And so, he's going to do whatever he wants. She greeted him as he stood in front of her. He smirked at her and asked, "Don't you have something to tell me?" Han So-eun bowed her head down and apologized. "I'm sorry for what happened yesterday." He asked, "Why are you apologizing?" "Well, I'm sorry for speaking to you in such a rude way." He told her it's okay and forget it. And why isn't she wearing her glasses? Is she wearing contact lenses? She was surprised she got off that easy. "Yes," she answered. He was expecting to see a little bit more of the old Han So-eun today, but she's only answering yes. Who could have thought that this girl was acting so naughty last night? She asked. Mr. CEO, perhaps, have you seen my glasses? I think I was using them when I got out of the restaurant, but I couldn't find them this morning. Taejun smiled and lied. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Were they expensive? She answered. Oh, not really. But they were a gift from my boyfriend. And his face cracked upon hearing the answer. Didn't you have a fight with your boyfriend? Yeah, didn't I say that? Ah. She scolded herself. But she answered, yes, we did fight yesterday. But things are better now. Have you really not seen my glasses? Maybe when I was at the convenience store. Before she could finish her reasoning, he cut her off. I haven't seen them. I'm sorry to hear that you lost them. By the way, you don't think I called you here just to talk about that, right? Miss Han So-eun? Don't you remember that I asked you to pack all of your things? He took her to another room and ordered Secretary Song to put another desk there. Tell the HR department that Miss Han So-eun will be getting a new position as the team manager of a new group. Secretary Song questioned, yes, then, what about the other employees under her? He asked, does she need help from others? Secretary Song stated, she understood. And what kind of group will it be? Taejun said the name will be the Future Service Team. So-eun walked wobbly back to her desk. So this is what he meant by pack all of your things. He made up a new team with a function that I've never even heard of before. I don't think I'll be able to give good results in another position. Maybe he's just trying to make me leave the company voluntarily. He must be a company bully. That's the most possible scenario. I almost set fire to the whole office, got drunk in front of him, and even talked disrespectfully to him. Thinking back to his explanation to Secretary Song, CEO stated he wanted the Future Service Team to be set up Monday. He will report about it to the company director so she doesn't have to submit a separate approval form. She watched in horror as they discussed her new role. Back at her desk, Bo-bae asked what the CEO called her this time for. But their conversation was cut short. A customer came stating she received the notification and was there to pick up her repaired phone. So-eun told her to wait for a moment while she retrieved the phone. It took a little longer because the parts that needed repairing were too old. The battery also broke during the repair. She replaced the battery for free. The customer thanked her and also brought a present. So-eun told the customer that she doesn't need to, but the customers wanted to express her gratitude in some way. And that feedback cheered up So-eun. She encouraged herself to cheer up. It's just a little change in her work life. She just has to do her best no matter where she works. They cannot kick out a hard worker. She cannot do anything about it after, since the new position was already decided. Han So-eun, you are capable of facing this and even more terrifying things. Young Hae-wook looked at the glass reflection of himself groaning as he thought of the meeting earlier. The CEO said, Lawyer Young, please pay special attention to the client I will present to you today. This is a very important client for our law firm. If the CEO says that, then it means that it has to be a political figure of someone with a lot of influence. All right, he won't waste this opportunity. Hyun-jin saw Hae-wook scratching his head. She asked, oh, are you going to meet the client in our meeting room? He was surprised. You too, Lawyer Choi? Hyun-jin said the CEO also told her to. They went inside the conference room together. Their CEO introduced them to this very important client and then excused himself after the introduction. Looking at the handsome-looking Taejun, Hae-wook wonders if he is a celebrity. Taejun complimented, I've heard a lot about the two of you. You seem to be young but very dependable. Hae-wook answered that they have grown a lot thanks to their CEO. Taejun pushed his business card forward and introduced himself. Sorry for the late introduction. I'm Kim Taejun. The two lawyers were shocked. He is the CEO of K Electronics Customer Services? That was the company So-eun works at. Kim Tae Jr. stated, I'm the only grandson of the chairman of the K Group, Kim Jae-pil, and also the second here in line to inherit the group. At this moment, it clicked in Hae-wook's mind. That's why he looks so familiar. I saw him on the news not too long ago. I cannot believe it. Is he really a member of one of the most powerful families in our country? How awesome. I have to do my best in this case. I cannot wait to be the lawyer in charge of all the legal procedures. Tae-jun explained the nature of work. What I'm asking you to do is that, since I'll be assigned to the K Electronics headquarters next year, I have been creating a dream team by recruiting exceptionally talented people and events for that. However, as you might have known, global talent hunting has a lot of wrongful legal issues. I want you to work as mediators to meet with foreign talents for their recruitment. So you'll have to take business trips from time to time. The more Tae-jun talks, the more Hae-wook's mind filled with potential money he will earn. After the meeting, Kim Tae-jun thought of what he overheard after the meeting. Yang Hae-wook and Choi Hyun-jin's conversations. K Electronics Customer Services is the company your girlfriend works for, right? We have to stay professional. We shouldn't talk about it. Watching the two discuss from the door gap, there's something that caught my attention from the very beginning about them. And today, I've confirmed my suspicions. Anyone that sees this too could clearly see that there's something. Thinking of So-eun's blushed expression when she said that the glasses were a gift from her boyfriend, he felt irritated and cursed, "She's a fool." Inside the hospital ward, two patients shared the same room, watching television. So-eun went to visit her future mother-in-law. She was holding on to a flower bouquet. She asked if mother had eaten. Mother answered that she has not yet. She said the mother should eat to get well sooner. She made some food for mother. It may not be as good, but she tried cooking for mother. As the mother eat, So-eun asked if it's delicious. Mother stated it's okay, but after that, she just continued to eat and did not say much. She felt a little nervous. For some reason, Mom didn't say much today. She went to fill the vase with water, so she could put the flowers in the vase. She wondered if mother was disappointed. Hae-wook said that his mother waited for her for a long time last week. Should she have gone to the hospital that day? But it's too much to pretend that she didn't know anything. Still, she tried lightening things up. Then Hae-wook's sister, Hae-jin, arrived. The mother's attitude changed completely. She told her daughter if she's busy, she doesn't have to come. Hae-jin stated she came because Dad said he would take care of the kid. Hae-jin and So-eun greeted each other. So-eun remained cheerful and optimistic as she stated, "You don't need to worry, sister." Seeing that So-eun looked cheerful, she ridiculed, maybe because you're young, that you recover so quickly, right? Oh my God. I cannot believe this is the person who had surgery on the same day as my mom did. I envy you so much. So-eun was dumbfounded, not sure how to react to that. The TV series was playing. It was a screen of a lawyer's wife catching the bad guy and confessing that she was a lawyer's wife. So-eun cut the apples while the sister and mother ate the apples. The sister made snarky comments. Now So-eun will be a lawyer's wife. How would you feel if you let your wife show off like that? I shouldn't have made my son a lawyer. So-eun felt hurt, but again she held it in. She didn't marry a lawyer just so she can show off like that. It's because she loves Oppo alone. There's no other reason. Because she wants to start a family. The mom started complaining about her stomach hurting. The sister asked, "Shouldn't you be recovering now? Isn't that so?" Mother's recovery was delayed because her liver wasn't in good condition. So-eun's liver is a little unhealthy, isn't it? So-eun recovered well, then why are you still like this? I cannot even repeat the operation, but I'm so upset right now. The sister continued to belittle and blame So-eun. Can't take it anymore, she stated. I have given Mom the most precious thing I have. Seeing that she was about to get upset, the sister laughed and brushed it off. Ha ha ha. So-eun has a good personality. It's okay. I was just kidding. With just one not so negative word, So-eun already calmed down. If you do that, Mom may become more anxious. The surgery went well. Even though it was slow, Mom was recovering. So, I think you should be careful saying that. The sister sighed and apologized. She shouldn't have said that. So-eun took the fruits and stated she will go wash more fruits. While So-eun was away, the sister asked what the mother had for lunch. The mother said So-eun gave her porridge today. Glaring at the lunch bag on the table, she now had a reason to blame So-eun. The moment So-eun came back, the sister started questioning with blames. You made this for Mom to eat? So-eun asked if it tasted bad. She was confused as to what's wrong with the porridge. Mom finished half of her porridge earlier and said it tasted okay. The sister asked the mom if Mom really said that. Mom answered as if she was being forced to eat and said, I just ate what was given to me. So-eun explained, I did what Appa told me to do. He sent me the recipe and told me to make it exactly. The sister blamed. Ha, you should have tasted it whether it's good or not. How could you possibly not do this by yourself? Then Hae-wook arrived and asked what was going on. So-eun was so afraid of being disliked that she tried to explain herself, but the sister wouldn't even give her the chance. So-eun's use for them was already done. They don't want to keep up with the facade anymore. The sister stated that So-eun brought the porridge to Mom, but it tasted bad. She didn't know what So-eun put it in to make it like that. Hae-wook took the spoon and tasted it. He frowned and questioned why it tasted like that. So-eun stated she followed the exact recipe he sent her. He said it shouldn't taste like that, but hindsight, he questioned, strange, did Eun's skills change? Side note, I bet the sister added something in it while So-eun was away. Done with the farce, she told Hae-wook to cook it himself, grabbed her stuff and left. They were surprised at the way she acted, as she would usually just take in their shitty attitude. Looking at the entrance of the hospital, Tae-jun knew it was the hospital Hae-wook's mother was being treated at. As the counselor said, if she's recovering, it won't be a burden for him to travel abroad. Now what's left is... Then his thoughts were cut short by hearing someone shout Han So-eun. He quickly hid around the pillar and saw Hae-wook and So-eun coming out of the entrance. Hae-wook asked, why did you leave? She questioned, so you want me to stay there? Tae-jun frowned at how annoying the scene was. So-eun reasoned, if it tastes bad, try to make it yourself or ask your sister to make it. Then, you'll find out whether the food tastes better or not. Hae-wook tried to reason. It's not just a taste, but it's considered healthy food. My sister hasn't come for a long time, so she doesn't know about my mom's food. So-eun readily agreed, yes, you haven't come since Mom had surgery, and I'm also the only one who stops by often to check on her condition. How long have you been here since your mother was hospitalized? Hae-wook asked if she could go back in first and they could talk. Tae-jun, listening behind the pillar, understood why she took unpaid leave. It wasn't because of an overseas trip. So-eun told Hae-wook to tell his sister to be polite. Hae-wook's patience of playing pretend nice almost ran out. He questioned, Han So-eun, why are you being like this? Don't you think you've gone too far lately? Do you want to be treated like a boss to ease your anger? After he finished speaking, he turned around and went inside. After Hae-wook disappeared into the hospital, Tae-jun came out of hiding and snickered Tish. So-eun turned around and saw Tae-jun walking away. Shocked to suddenly see him, she wondered if he saw and heard everything. When he asked her if her boyfriend was nice to her, she lied and pretended she was happy, because she wanted that. She wanted to be loved, feel loved. But it was ridiculous. She felt so embarrassed now. Monday morning came. So-eun was packing her stuff for the new position. She felt so down. Nothing works either at work or in her private life. Is the problem within her? Who persisted even when they tried to drive her away? Secretary Song came and comforted So-eun to not be afraid. CEO Kim Tae-jun, he is not as cold-hearted as rumored. He's gentler and more living than he looks. So-eun found it hard to believe. But she thanked Secretary Song for the comfort anyway. The CEO came and told Han So-eun to go back to the mobile service team. They said they don't have enough manpower. They also said if one manager is missing, the team will suffer. What time does work usually end? So-eun answered, usually around 6 p.m. She wondered what kind of wish he suddenly gave me. Could it be because of the impact of yesterday's incident? Just as she thought she was going to get to go back to her old work, he then answered, well, then let's take a look after you are done with all of your work. Future service team will be changed to the TF team. Chief Han So-eun, please work hard on your main job and lead the TF team well. The TF team works until 9 p.m. Until then, you have to stay here. So-eun's life withered like a dead flower without water for weeks. She replied enthusiastically, all right. Tae-jun said, I'm the one who takes care of overtime money as a special allowance for the TF team. She answered, all right. Then she grabbed her stuff and headed back to the old team. As she walked away, Tae-jun muttered quietly to himself, what do you know, you idiot? Secretary Song was surprised by the statement and quickly glimpsed at Tae-jun. His face was so sour, like he's about to cry, but holding back his emotion. Bobae cried seeing Soon back in the team. She felt like it's been forever since Soon was gone. Soon chuckled and said yes. Has really been that long? Bobae explained of what happened earlier as the CEO passed by. The convo goes loudly like, I'm still worried about Chief Han. I feel sad every time I see her lately. It's not 100% the fault of the chief, but due to the device defect issues. What if you get tired and quit? Besides, Jang Pyo helped partake by saying, if there's no chief, it will be difficult to fill that gap with the current team staff. So basically, her team was all in on it, acting in front of the CEO when the CEO passed by. Soon was surprised that Jang Pyo usually was very quiet and wouldn't talk other than work, so she hasn't been able to talk to him. After taking time off for a month, she feels very uncomfortable. She doesn't know if he thinks of her that way or not. So-eun was happy, and when Jang Pyo looked over her way, she bowed down and thanked him. Her action caused him to blush. The manager came and reprimanded them, saying they are not on lunch break. As they got back to their work, Bobae whispered. She heard it secretly. The CEO ordered her to do a special project. So-eun answered yes, a special team was created. She will work there and her main job at the same time. She will be the team leader there. Bobae gave her a sharp thumbs up as she praised. Wow, cool. You're so great. Besides, there's no way that CEO Tae-jun would discipline someone for such a thing. He's such a gentle and kind person. Again, So-eun wondered if he was kind and gentle as Secretary Song also said the same thing. Come to think of it, when they first met, he suddenly gave her a bowl of eel rice. Even when she was drunk and doesn't remember much, she thinks his tone of voice is quite soft too. But the current CEO is really scary. Is it because she made so many mistakes? If she does her best in the future, will he be nice to her too? The TF service team work area was so messy, full of work. She frowned looking at the work. It's been 2 days since she started working for the TF team. She couldn't even meet with the director. She's silly for having any expectations after listening to Bobae's words. It's a punishment no matter who sees it. No, it's not. It's workplace bullying. From 6 to 9 p.m., that's a long time to do anything. She cannot waste time waiting for the CEO, who doesn't even show up. She will study English. She will get a perfect score and change her job. Another day, end of the day. Tae-jun told Secretary Song that he will go to the headquarters meeting alone. She can leave work when it's time and go home. Secretary Song told him to wait as she took out something from her bag. Eat first and then go. It must be hard to keep meeting up at meetings, right? It's been a while since I packed your lunchbox. If you are too busy, take a sandwich. Flashback to 20 years ago, Tae-jun's aunt and Secretary Song watched Tae-jun eat his food. They think Tae-jun likes Secretary Song's food, as he usually is a very picky eater. He ate the lunchbox while the two ladies ogled over him. Tae-jun shyly answered, I'll eat and then go. Let's eat together, Secretary Song. While they were eating, Secretary Song reported that Han So-eun worked overtime until 9 p.m. yesterday. She also stated that she will wait for the CEO today. She couldn't even eat. Tae-jun replied, So, just leave it like that. Glancing in a certain direction, he continued, When I was young, there was a dog at home. He used to follow me everywhere and take care of me, even though it was annoying. But one day, he disappeared. Recently, I found out where it was. Curious, Secretary Song asked, Really? Where? He answered gloomily, It lives in someone else's house that he's never met before. Even though he was just a little bully, he saw the puppy follow his new owner everywhere as he did to me before. I wondered who that idiot was. Shocked, Secretary Song questioned, Oh my. How could he do that? Shouldn't you ask for it back? But I don't know if it will work or not. Because it's been a long time. Tae-jun answered. But still, I have to find what I'm looking for. Secretary Song commented happily, But you managed to recognize the puppy that you lost when you were a child. It must be an old dog now. He answered, Nope. He's still like a puppy. Tae-jun went to the headquarters, finished off a presentation. Everyone clapped after it ended. He walked while the clapping was still happening, as if he was in a hurry to the next place. It's past 6 p.m. Han So-eun must be waiting for him on the 7th floor right now. He could imagine the puppy her, with large endearing puppy eyes, asking when will he go? Come to think of it, he felt a little sad. But it's better than being a maid and going to that hospital. Though she was alone waiting for him, it's better. Tae-jun saw his grandfather, the chairman, who was so happy to see him after a long time. Grandfather greeted him with open arms and asked for a hug. He hugged his grandfather and was also happy to see Grandpa. It's been a long time since Grandpa saw him. Grandpa talked non-stop, asking how the new job. It seems that he was working hard. Grandpa also advised him to be careful not to get caught by anyone. Meet a lot of people first. Then making friends is the second. Grandpa also mentioned finding talents from abroad. Then someone came and informed the chairman that the board meeting is starting soon. Grandpa told Tae-jun to contact him if he needs anything. Tae-jun bowed and politely addressed him as president in front of the others. Then, another person came and greeted him loudly. "Oh my God, look who's here. Are you not my nephew? How long has it been?" This person was Tae-jun's uncle, Kim Sang-deok, president of K Electronic, Mobile Division. Tae-jun bowed and greeted him. "Hello, President." Uncle gestured for him to take it easy and relax. "You've grown up well. Well, the older you get, the more you look like your father. Let's see, what I mean is, your father died at the age of 40, right? Now that we're in the same group, let's do our best. I told Director Gap Soo to take care of you." Tae-jun told his uncle that uncle doesn't have to do that. He's already grateful. Uncle answered, "Theory and practice are two different things. There are a lot of talented people who graduated from the Ivy League, but they are not good enough. I will keep my palace well, so as not to tarnish your grandfather's name." The uncle took off after making some snide comments to Tae-jun. After the uncle left, Tae-jun's aunt also came and complained. "Ugh. He's still immature at that age. You don't have to worry about what Sang-deok said. He is doing well, because your father laid his foundation well." Tae-jun smiled upon seeing his aunt. "Okay, Auntie." Annie told Tae-jun, "If Sang-deok crosses the line again, talk to me and I will take care of it." Tae-jun questioned how. Annie said, "I'll take off his fake wig in public." Tae-jun laughed. He could totally imagine that. Annie then asked, "It's very late. Does he want to have dinner together? Does he have time?" He thought for a moment and smiled. "I have an appointment, Auntie. I'll visit you next time." Tae-jun came back to check on the TF team. Upon opening the door, it wasn't as he imagined. So-eun waited impatiently for him like a puppy, but instead, it was her who had KO'd. His lips twitched. "Looks like someone's not getting a special allowance like this." He pulled a chair adjacent to her and planned to have a seat. He saw the books and it was in English. Is she learning English? Gazing at her sleeping face, she seemed to be sleeping well. Then her phone buzzed. There were a couple notifications from Hae-wook Appa. Hae-wook sent 2 messages. He didn't hear from her over the weekend, and doesn't she want to see him? She was still drooling in her sleep, oblivious, so he grabbed her phone. To open, one must draw a pattern to unlock. Looking intently at the phone, he decided to just give it one try. He drew an L shape and the phone opened, as if she was asking the person who unlocked to view as much as they liked. Tae-jun was so shocked, he got in first try. He paced around the room thinking, how can someone be so careless? It's an insult to the company if I open it. Han-seon, are you really an engineering graduate? Is the world really that easy? This is a disgrace to K-Group. Ah, this is frustrating. No, why am I so angry? He finally deleted the text messages and phew. He finally calmed down. Looking at her naively sleeping face, he blamed her. It's all your fault, Han-seon. After several hours, Seon finally woke up from her sleep. She panicked, searched for her phone, and looked at the time. Oh my God. I fell asleep. I was planning to just close my eyes for a moment. Then she felt the burning in her eyes. Damn, my eyes stings from the effects of the contact lenses. In the midst of her misery, she noticed a person sitting across from her. Tae-jun was playing on his phone in the dark while he waited for her to wake up. She screamed, "Oh my God, CEO." Unbothered by her melodramatic behavior, Tae-jun spoke. I was sitting, waiting for Chief Han-seon to wake up, and it was already past 11 o'clock. Seon replied, Didn't the CEO make me wait too? Tae-jun smirked as he asked, do you think my time and your time are worth the same? Huh? She frowned and thought quietly, you were casually playing with your cell phone. Isn't it the same for me and CEO, which is 24 hours? Tae-jun replied, I thought you were just a stupid person, but it turns out you are a person who always knows how to argue. All right, you know how to argue, and I can do it too. He stood up and asked, have you found your boyfriend's weaknesses? She blushed and wondered, what's this about? Is it about what happened at the hospital back then? I probably looked pretty pathetic back then, especially since the CEO doesn't know the real situation. But why did he suddenly say that? Follow me, I'll take you home, he stated. So-eun replied that she will just take the taxi. Tae-jun said, you should agree when someone offers you a ride. I won't drop you off in the middle of the road again. While they were walking to the car, he asked if she had dinner. She told him she ate at the office. Disappointed, he complained that didn't even have time to eat. She cringed as if he was mocking her for having too much time. She thought, what should she do? Looking at him, she thinks he looks a little thinner. Why doesn't he eat dinner first? She was worried for no reason. Then she remembered. She didn't buy 2 sandwiches out of anger while waiting for the director today. There should be one left. As she dug into her bag for the sandwich, she imagined Tae-jun sitting like a king mocking her. Do you think I would eat something like that? Just give it to your boyfriend. She then put the sandwich back down. Noticing her action, he asked, what's that? So-eun panicked and stated, it's nothing. He leaned over and asked, a sandwich. Oh, you want to give it to me? I don't eat things like that. She frowned frustratedly. Damn it. I knew it would happen, and replied, yes, I know. Then, Tae-jun reached his hand in her bag and took out the sandwich bag. Okay, I will accept it wholeheartedly, and walk away feeling happy about finally receiving something from her. Tae-jun drove So-eun back to her neighborhood. There was no street light, and especially so late at night. The roads were not as lit as other parts. She told him that her house is around there. He can stop there. But she noticed that he really drove her to the front of the house. And he drove it himself? After stopping, he commented, it's very dark in front of your house. So-eun answered, yes, it's like that. He muttered, can people live in a place like this? Angered, she gritted her teeth and glared dagger at him. Who's the reason that I'm working till dark like this, huh? You human tyrant. Then, both directed their attention to her purse. It was the incoming phone call that interrupted their angry mood. Pulling out the phone to look at the screen, it was Hey Wook. Why all of a sudden? There was no message from him. I have to get down quickly, so I can pick up. She put the phone back inside the bag. CEO, thank you for the ride, then I. Before she finished, he said, looks like you made up with your boyfriend. She frowned and hesitated, but told him, no, since I work overtime every day, there's no time to reconcile, so I couldn't do it. Hearing that somehow made Tae-jun happy. He can't help but mock her. In that case, why hasn't your boyfriend apologized to you yet? How busy are you? It's not a problem if he makes time for you. He didn't even bother to come to you to admit his mistakes, but now he just wants to call. Angered that he hit the nail every time, but she still wanted to find excuses. She stuttered, my boyfriend and I are too busy. Is he so busy that there's no time to reconcile? Isn't it your boyfriend's intention not to reconcile? He finally contacted you, but did you take him for granted? Is he a really good person? His words hit her so hard, she finally KO'd. She attempted to answer him. What? It's not like that. He questioned, shouldn't you break up? He's not a great person, so why are you seeing him again? She scowled. He crossed the line. What? Dating is not something you can do with a great person. It's with someone who is right for me. He questioned, is it right to be with someone like that? But why do I think it's not right? She reasoned loudly, no, it suits me. I think you misunderstood, because you saw us back then in the hospital. My boyfriend and I actually get along very well. We are like family. Then why do you have to fight? Strange, there is nothing worth fighting about. It's like a family, and your boyfriend's mom drained you during her illness. You even took a month off to take care of your boyfriend's mother's illness. He totally hit the nail. She was reminded of that time, the month's worth of vacation that she worked so hard to earn. It was time that should have been used for her recovery. Because she couldn't take more than 1 month off, she forced herself back to work. Her boyfriend didn't attend to her, and the sister was happy that she got out of the hospital after 1 month. Now they can rely on her to take care of their mother while she is still recovering. She didn't know and didn't think that it would happen like that. Truth hurts, and she was still in denial. Tears clouded her eyes. CEO. Those words make me very uncomfortable. I know that I was only showing an untrustworthy side, and I also said something embarrassing. And I always cause problems, so maybe the CEO will never like me. I completely understand. But this is my life. It has nothing to do with someone like the CEO. Reaching out his hand to brush her hair strands away from her face, he said, I don't like someone like you, but now I like it so much. Han So-eun, I really like someone like you, someone who has no self-esteem, someone who does anything. I really like it. I hope you know what I feel now. She probably thought he was just mocking her. Her tears and pain turned into anger. She yelled, thank you for the ride, and stormed out of the car, stomping her way up the stairs. She cried and dried her tears. Don't let me sway by those silly words. I will not live according to the will of the person who harms me. This is my life. I will decide my own fate. Just wait and see. Kim Tae-jun. Hae-wook couldn't reach So-eun. He looked at his phone, wondering why he hadn't heard from her. Even when he called, she didn't answer. She didn't even go to the hospital on Sunday. Will this weekend be the same? Thinking of last week, the sister said she didn't have time to go. The dad said he had an important meeting. Just when Hae-wook was about to go crazy, an incoming call came in. It was from So-eun. He cleared his throat and picked up the call. He said he's busy right now. She should speak quickly. She asked if he called beforehand. Confused, he said he sent her messages. What messages? Nothing was sent to her. He growled, how could you deceive a lawyer? So, are you saying that someone secretly touched your phone and deleted it on purpose? Both froze for a second. What? Hey, Han So-eun, I told you to lock your phone properly. She answered, I've done it. He said, the pattern is L, isn't it? Huh. How did you know? Hae-wook bit his thumb, seething in anger. It's crazy. It's just something I said. But is it true? Who did this? And why? The cell phone contains information about organ donation, as well as recordings of conversations. What if someone sees it? It's not gonna work. I need to see her soon. I have to buy her a new phone, or whatever. Again, he reverted back to the sugar-coating method to blind her. So-eun easily fell for it and thought it was her fault. I'm sorry. I spoke too harshly last Saturday. She also apologized. She was too sensitive. He coaxed her. If we're both sorry, then let's get along soon. Should we go on a date this weekend? We will talk about wedding planning and go to a hotel to have a meal. How does that sound? In hindsight, this will be his ace to persuade her. She sounds excited and readily agrees. His purpose was finally achieved. It's almost time for work. I'll call you back later. After he hung up, his menace came out. Good. Let's finish all this on the weekend. I just need to do some research on wedding planning. I'll take her phone when we meet, and then I'll drop her off at the hotel. I've been through a lot for my mother's surgery, all along with that face and body. Yes. With that face and that look, Han So-eun is very seductive, beautiful, patient, and obedient. Except if a girl like Hyunjin suddenly enters and says she likes me. It may not be as bad as her replacement. Oppa. Someone called and startled Hae-wook. His phone dropped to the ground. Oh my god, you surprised me. Lawyer Choi, if you want to come in, at least knock on the door. Upset, Hyunjin questioned if he called So-eun earlier. She cried and guessed he was so busy that he didn't realize she was there. Shocked, Hae-wook asked what's going on. She said, actually, back at the bar when I decided to call you, Oppa. I didn't do it when I was drunk. It's because I already like you, Oppa. The F. His jaw dropped and mind was about to explode. Choi Hyunjin likes me. Choi Hyunjin, the queen of the law firm. Hyunjin continued to pour out her grievances. She's given so many hints, but Oppa doesn't really care about her. If she didn't like him, why would she bother to visit his mother? Even though she was jealous of So-eun, she tried to act like she hated her. That's why she called her to go to their company dinner. Even sent flowers as gifts, but she cannot do it anymore. Hae-wook's mind went off the roof. Even when I have a girlfriend, she like me? This is my chance. A chance he won't miss forever. He hugged Hyunjin and said, "Can you listen to my heart well? This is my heart for you." She stopped crying, smiled and hugged him back. So-eun arrived at Tae-jun's office area. She greeted Secretary Song. Secretary Song told her that the CEO is in his office today, so just knock and go in. So-eun went into the office and greeted Tae-jun and said there's something she would like to tell him about the future service team's work. And what should she do today? He was still working on his computer, so he told her to just wait on the seat. She frowned and asked, Yesterday. You were in front of me in the office while I was asleep?" He corrected her. "You fell asleep and didn't wake up?" She corrected herself. "Yes. While I was sleeping, could it be that time? Did you touch my cell phone?" Originally, he panicked, but acted all cool. He answered coolly, "No. Is there a problem?" "Oh no, I was just asking." She pondered. If not him, then who? Looking at her, he smirked. "Foolish. You should have checked it out. No matter how many times you attack me, you won't succeed. Is there anything else you want to say?" Tae-jun asked. She answered, That's. Thank you again for yesterday, CEO. Because you gave me a ride home. I came to my senses after hearing the CEO's words." "Huh. About what? Did you realize that by crying?" She explained. "Thanks to you, my relationship has been reconciled with my boyfriend. From now on, I will take care of my food, and I will meet you with respect, CEO." In other words, it meant, mind your own business and I'll make a good impression on you. Then she went to wait for the CEO, leaving him flaming. "Do you think you can just walk away?" He picked up the phone and made a call. The other person answered. "Hello, this is lawyer Hae-wook." Tae-jun asked, "Do you have time? We have sent you the first list of overseas recruits via email before. Are you available for a business trip to Japan this weekend? For 1 night and 2 days with lawyer Choi Hyunjin."